There's an old saying, old coach told me once, that you either get better or you get worse every day. You don't stay the same.
And that's the idea in how we've laid this out, is knowing that after you watch film and you sit down with your coordinator, you're going to look at what are we doing in practice next week to work on that, to improve that. And we know that every coach, you walk out to a football practice this afternoon, tucked in the back of his shorts, he's going to have that piece of paper with his practice plan on it every single day.
Notes, reminders.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to write things down. I've always said to watch film without a pen and paper in your hand is really a waste of time. But also, you want to remember the things that you did well or you didn't do so well, so you can apply those to next week's game. That was always the last thing that I did on Saturday night before a game on Sunday, is I reviewed my notes from the previous game. Like, hey, remember to finish on this throw to the left, or don't forget on 3rd and 15 to, that check down is a good decision. You don't have to force the ball always 15 yards downfield. So I think it's really, studying, being very honest, being very self-critical as to what you can do to be better. And like I said, you can apply what you learned during practice. So if I'm a coach, Devin, how do I implement insight?
Yeah, and from a team use perspective and from a coaching perspective, you really have to look at how do you do things now? How do you work as a staff to find things to get better at? What are the things we need to improve?
Right.
What did we do well last week? And how can we put those into our practice plan? But the key is, if we have a practice outlined without getting the data from the field, the real question is, how much contact or head impact exposure are we planning for? Staff's meeting with the training staff, athletic training, sports med every week, reviewing who's in the training room, what they're getting treatment for. They're having those conversations, but now we're giving really an objective way to say, here's what we planned, and here's what actually happened.
Right. Yeah. This drill created more impact alerts.
Correct.
Maybe let's not do that one.
Correct. So
next week.
So drills where you wouldn't expect to see significant impacts or alerts, or drills where maybe it's just a control drill, or it's against bags where you wouldn't expect a lot of head impacts, but you're seeing that. Because when we get into the really competitive teams, and guys, you've seen it yourself, the most competitive players and some of the best players, they've got one speed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's no walkthrough.
No.
Tempo.
Exactly. So I'm going to show you an example here, and this is from the month of September. So right at the beginning of the season, and without having to dig for anything. If I'm a coach, I've got more data, but I've got the same amount of time, right? You get a daily overview and recap for the alerts and for the training opportunities for every day, and then a 3-bar chart to show you how much impact we actually had from green, orange to red. If we look down at this looks pretty typical of what a college program would look like the first 3 weeks of September. And we can zoom in on these and see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are our impact days during the week.
Saturday.
Fridays, our walkthrough, and then Saturday
obviously
elevates.
Your largest.
So if I point something out to you here, if we look at our first 2 weeks, right there, at the level those are happening at, the 3rd week.
Look like Coach dialed it down.
Settles down.
So there's no doubt that he used what he learned in weeks 1 and 2 to his practice schedule on week 3.
So you can see this on a weekly basis, and at the end of the season, we could even go back and look at every week, and then how you're judging were we successful each week.
And that's what jumps out to me is that, you hear the term film study, and as a quarterback, I was certainly studying a lot of film of our opponents, but I was studying equally, if not more, film video of our own team and of myself.
Yeah.
You can have the best plays in the world to defeat a defense, but if you're not doing your job from a fundamental standpoint, footwork, blocking, tackling, all the best plays are going to be a waste. And so that's what correlates to the football aspect of it, of gathering as much information as you can and using it to help you be either the best player or the best team you can be.
We're looking to tie in from the data we can get from a football helmet on the field. How can we give coaches information to make that player better on a weekly basis and improve their team overall?
This has been great.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.